where they're going to talk to the first place G2 eSports.
Thank you very much indeed. Joined here by Perks. Now, first reaction after securing first place in your first split with the team.
Well, I'm really happy about our performance, even though this game was really shaky in this game yesterday, but we made a comeback, so we had better late in comp, so I'm happy about the game and about our split.
All right. Tell me about what happened then here in the early game. Obviously, you mentioned it didn't go that well.
Well, first there was like a gang bot when they had like TP mid, and he TP'd mid and he TP'd bot, and they died. So that's a bit unlucky. And
unlucky.
and then I don't know what happened actually after that. Like their top lane, I think, took top turret because they have Sivir, which is like a really strong push, and then they were like holding mid all the time, and we couldn't push with a zero, and their top laner was strong. So we had to like stall it out a bit, and then we were like trying to push mid, and then they got 2 TP flanks off, and then I died. And
Funny you say that, actually. I think we have a replay of that exact moment. At least I hope so. There's at least a double TP somewhere. Let's watch that again. Yes, Perks. Yeah, clearly overextending here, you know, because they're in the top lane, in the bot lane. We can roll the clip by now. And then suddenly, TPs happen. How does it feel to be a mid laner in a double TP meta, Perks?
Feels really cool having Poppy flashy on me, not even being able to move, but yeah.
Could you have flashed the player there, the stun there?
No, but Lissandra was still behind
I don't know.
These guys are working together.
Perks, charge in, flash over it right there.
Yeah, if I was good, I would actually flash over the Poppy, ult them away, and then jump away. Yeah, I'm just bad, sorry.
It's good to see that Perks at least learned from his mistake here, because right here he's standing.
Here
again.
also a lot of counters,
he's
but yeah.
dead again.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just bad.
I think you need to buy Q set here.
Yeah, that would help.
I mean, you guys did have a thing or two to say about the build, obviously. Febivin, what did you think first with the Nashor's Tooth, the double Dorans? Of course, he was behind.
I think he should have went. I think Nashor's Tooth is good first item, but wait, you went Riley second, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you should have went Abyssal because you saw how much MR they had.
Yeah.
And at that point, if they actually played well, they started baiting Nash. You only had 2 items at like 25 minutes. And at that point, I think you guys were a lot weaker in team fights. And if they actually baited Baron and TP'd behind you guys, then I think you guys would have actually lost.
Yeah, true. Same.
This is a beautiful thing that's happening right here.
I mean, we're just the cheerleaders over here.
Yeah.
We will let the guys...
Yeah, the UOL buff from the cheerleaders, it wasn't enough in the end.
It lasted for a while, and they had really good 1-3-1. But
that was a really good distraction, I have to say. Like, if there was no cheerleaders, we would stomp them.
Yeah, okay. So that's a playoff strategy given away. No, back to the game. The second replay is kind of where you guys kind of pull it back. The 1-3-1 was really hard to deal with, and then suddenly the Lissandra... Yeah,
all in for inhib.
Top lane. How happy are you that Fox decides to actually greed for the inhibitor?
I think he thought that he was playing Z, so he was split pushing the whole game. But no, I'm kidding. He did a lot of pressure. But after that, I think we got Nash of that, no?
Yeah.
And,
I mean, it's a good point because
made a comeback.
They had wards on the map to actually just TP on you mid for like the 3rd time. So we saw 2 replays of you dying mid lane. They could have done exactly the same right here, but they greed for inhib, and now you guys get Baron.
Yeah, after Baron, like we just had a really strong siege comp, and if we place Azir turret and like wards behind us, like Clear or Division, they cannot actually fight us. They can. The only winning condition is like TP flanks. So after that, I think the game was won here.
Yeah, I think this was obviously the throwback, but it's really hard actually in my opinion, for a 1-3-1 comp to correctly bait the Baron. We discussed it a little bit off air with Fabian, because you have all your key members in the side lanes, and then to deny vision against all the blue trinkets and sweep the vision, it's really hard to bait the Baron. That's why I think what the official said was kind of right. You really want to go for that double TP again. I
mean, that was a good thing Unicorns did. They actually had a lot of wards behind you guys all the time. And then when they have the double TP in the late game, going for inhib, like, you so rarely win the game by split pushing all the way down to inhib 2 Nexus. Like, you split push and then you collapse on the other team when you have the advantage and they're pushed too far up or too far back. So, greedy, honestly, from Unicorns. I'm not sure if you guys knew that was going to happen and you're just waiting and waiting.
No, we actually thought that he was just pressuring bot and then they were going to TP behind us.
Right.
But he just kept pushing, and then we were like, okay, let's go on Lissandra, then go Nash, and it worked out.
Both TPs gone. Game over.
In the end, Perks is a 0 performance. How much out of 10?
10 out of 10.
Oh,
Really?
fantastic.
Thanks.
Of course.
Well, 10 out of 10 also in the standings. Let's take a look at those and make it official. Of course, G2 cementing their first place in their very first split in the LCS. I was a non-believer. But throughout the season or throughout the split, all of us have come to acknowledge that you guys have just grown tremendously. Then H2K, Vitality, Origin, and sadly, of course, Fnatic after this week ending up in 6th place. And then Splice, Roccat, and the Giants enter in the summer promotion tournament. It sucks obviously.
Yeah, it's whatever. We are a new team, so we just need more time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any of the teams here you think you're better than in the top of the standings? Are you better than Unicorns, better than Origin?
Maybe with a good day, but it's I would say not really, no.
I mean, you have time to work towards that good day. Let's take a look at the playoff bracket. You guys are very first game, actually, or match in that quarterfinal versus Vitality.
Oof.
Now, yeah, you say oof. What do you think of the matchup, Perks?
That's a fast FF20. No, I'm kidding. I think on a good day, Fnatic can maybe take Vitality.
Why?
Just
Why? Now, if you're at
Why?
the analyst,
Okay.
you gotta back it up, though. You can't just say that.
So I think Fnatic has some really strong players with not so large champion pools, though. So I think if their jungler and support synergy will be good enough, they can win.
Last time he was here, he also talked about Vitality. And he said Vitality has some very, very good players. Exactly the same point you just had about Fnatic. But you said that big champion pools, except for maybe Nukedog in the mid lane. Do you think maybe Nukedog is someone you should target in the pick and ban phase? Or what do you think maybe is the weakness of Vitality?
I think they have actually mid and AD carry actually have like not so large champion pool. I think, even though Nukedog has played Lysandra today, and yeah, so maybe he has expanded it, but. I think it's actually really easy to prepare versus them because you know exactly what champs are they going to play, and if you know what champs they're going to play, then you can counter them and even maybe counterban something or something like that.
Wow, we
Isn't
just
that-
thought they were very flexible.
Isn't that technically the same you could say about G2 to an extent, though? What you guys have revealed? I mean,
no,
it's not
you
like
guys don't even know what we have prepared yet.
Okay, well, I hope you surprise me in playoffs.
Get cheese in playoffs now.
In any case, Nukedog, I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but one thing I heard from someone the split is the fact that Nukedog, he's always been a very good player, obviously, but now it's really coming out, and that he has gained more brain power as well in terms of reading the game. What do you think of the way he's grown and the way he's performed so far this split?
Yeah, I would say he's performing really good because mid lane is so much about around your team right now, and he has a really, really good team behind him. I think his support and jungle are extremely good, and I think that's a huge thing why he's performing so well.
Perks.
I agree.
Cool.
I think Nukedog traded like some mechanics for brain.
Was it you
Yeah,
that said it?
if you express it in like.
Now it was.
I
You know,
disagree.
Grandpa
No,
takes
I-
the
I
credit.
remember. I
No,
didn't
we
wanna-
actually talked a little bit about it.
Okay.
Because the good thing is he plays pretty well without any jungle pressure. Especially earlier in the season, he was not getting a lot of attention from Shook. But in my opinion, he played some matchups well. If they were losing matchups, he stayed even, and then he could still transfer that with some roams. And I don't think we've seen Nukedog catastrophically fail like we have last year at some points.
Yeah, he was very inconsistent last year, but also I feel like he's been one of the mid laners who's quick to adapt to new changes. At least if we go a few weeks back with the Quinn mid lane, that was played a lot all of a sudden, and now it's kind of died down. Why do you guys think Quinn is no longer being used mid at all? It's just because of all the tanks on top?
Yeah, mostly. I think it's just because there is like so many good tanks, like on top, like Poppy, Ramus, Nautilus, which you can't even split push against, and you can't teamfight never against them. And there's like Gragas as well. Then you can just pick a safe mid, like I don't know, Lulu. I think Azir can just farm versus Queen as well, and Lysandra and stuff like that, and you will be more useful than Queen.
Yeah, it's when you play Quinn, you have like a small opportunity, like 15 minutes or something, to actually snowball. And if you don't snowball, you usually end up with like a tank top, and you have Quinn mid, and you lack a lot of AP damage if you're like not playing Corki AD or something, and then you just can't teamfight. And the game is all about teamfighting right now, and so many TPs happening, and it's just impossible to win the game if you cannot win a teamfight.
Talking about those TPs, this weekend we saw a lot of double TP compositions, like the Trundle Lysandra comps came out, or any Lysandra Sivir comp that just focused around, you know, having one AFK push lane that you then get the tower on with a roam. Do you think the playoff meta will be almost exclusively double TP? Because even today you were going even in mid, but suddenly your mid laner TP's bot because some like the communication wasn't on point to really factor in that teleport, and suddenly the game snowballs off that.
Well, it's hard to say because I don't think many mid laners have that like pressure with double TP. Like for example, Lysandra has like super good pressure because of so much CC and like gap closing and good flanks, so he can use TP very well. But you can't run TP on something like Orianna or Azir. Maybe on Azir even you can, but no, it's not that good because you're just a backline champion who does damage. So I don't think it's that much of a meta. Only like
Just
Lissandra.
pick dependent, yeah.
But Lissandra is pretty strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Lissandra is like the best champion with teleport because she has like decent laning phase. She has insane TP flanks after 20 with the home guard, and then her flash engages are just really good too. But besides that, what he already said is like in so many cases you have to run cleanse on mid, and you're not gonna run TP on LeBlanc or something, or on Zed or whatever. And
Is there ever a case to be made for TP LeBlanc? Or do you just need to have the offensive summoner?
nah, I think you can run TP on LeBlanc, but
It feels like a waste maybe.
I think with Ignite you have way more kill pressure and like snowball pressure to get rolling.
Did we see, what was it, TP Syndra? Or
No, we had TP
the
LeBlanc in
Lux?
Challenger.
Okay.
We had
What?
TP LeBlanc one.
Yeah,
TP
I saw
LeBlanc.
the game.
We had,
Yeah.
We had
was TPing
TP
bot.
It was TP,
Syndra or-
TP Corki as well. We had TP everything.
Yeah.
But I talked to, actually, I asked whoever, the mid laner, Godbro, and asked, why did you go TP LeBlanc? And he told me, well, actually, can I tell it? Actually, I'm going to hold that answer. 'Cause
Okay.
I don't know if
Because
I can
we still
actually
have
say
the
that on there.
promotion tournament,
Because
you
we
can
still have
tell us
promotion
after
tournament.
again.
I'll tell you guys afterwards.
We'll talk about promotion tournament in a bit. Wrapping up the playoffs, that other first match we know, OG versus the Unicorns of Love. Obviously, we talk a lot about double teleport meta. If that's in the game and Expecka and SOAS play, they'll be like, we know how this goes. Perks, OG versus UOL. What are your thoughts?
I actually think that's gonna be a really close match. Like, even though OG went like 2-0 versus them in regular season, I still think Unicorns are like have good individual players and can match up to them like on every role.
I'm
So-
just, sorry.
Sure, just saying.
I'm just really interested to see how they evolve in a best of 5. Because like I feel like you can't draw any conclusions out of these two like seemingly random games in the split. From like screaming these guys, who do you guys think will progress the best picks and bans to a best of 5? Unicorns or OG? Or no one?
I think OG then, if you want to judge by scrims, but scrims doesn't really matter that much. So
We only scrimmed gamers too lately, so I really don't know how these teams are gonna do in a best
G2
of five.
esports, bro.
G2
G2
esports.
Good remembering that. Perks and Febiven, if you were at the head of OG, who would you put in the mid lane for the quarterfinals?
Expecka.
Expecka.
Why?
He's undefeated.
Nah, I think he's really solid. Like he never falls behind, and he knows exactly what to ask from his team. And he has the champions he plays are good right now in the meta, and he just knows mid lane so well, and he's never gonna go behind. Like even if he's against a better player or something, he always knows how to get equal. And like I think his communication is really good as well, and I think it impacts their team a lot.
Were you a better player than him today? But,
I don't judge for myself.
okay.
No, I think he was, but he was just silo held.
So, Febiven, you said earlier that you and Perks have different play styles. You know, Perks is the guy focusing on pushing lane with strong champions and just individual performance, a lot of focus around the mid lane itself, where you're more the team player. Is that a Peck and Power Vivo situation?
Wait, first off, Perks, do you agree with that?
Yeah, Perks, do you agree with that? Are you focused
actually-
purely on mid lane?
Actually, it depends on what champs are you playing, but I think Fabian can play same style as me, just playing aggressively and pushing lane, but I don't think his team is that good right now, so that's why he's not playing like that. But like last season, we saw that he was playing a lot of like Zed and Blanc and stuff, and could always go aggressive, you know.
So does the Perks style work international when you play Faker and these guys? Or do you need to be the team player?
Well, if I'm gonna play Zed against, you saw I played Zed against Corki in the final at the IM, and I was basically getting smashed. Like I was supposed to win that lane, but I was like 30 CS behind. And if you don't take advantage of that, like you saw, we were full AD, so it's impossible to win team fights. And if you don't have control of the game at that point, it's just over. So it really depends how you adapt in pick and ban as well, and how. Because if let's say I play Zed against a Corki in Europe, I would win, because of course I had the impression that I would win this matchup, but then when I get against Faker, I lose it, and then it's like I lost the game basically for my team, you know. And
But I actually think Corki wins against Zed.
I don't agree.
1-1-1?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, cut the show. No.
I wonder, so you said like, okay, this matchup, usually I win this, I play against Faker, I lose. Do you guys have any idols or people that you watch, maybe in VOD review of like foreign mid laners that you say, okay, this guy's really good, I really want to watch his laning phase? Or any players you really want to match up against internationally?
During B. Turks is a big
No,
fan.
no. I lost my faith in going
Yeah, I heard you guys had a couple of scrims there.
After playing versus this guy, I lost complete faith in him. But from watching China, I think Rook is like super good mid. I really enjoy watching him play.
Do you learn anything when you watch him play, like little things, or?
Yeah, like just the way he plays some champions, like team fights and stuff. It's really good on like Ari and LeBlanc, stuff like that. And of course, you can always learn from Faker. So.
I think Koro is playing really well too. Actually, he's always consistent and always playing well. Never losing lane, basically always playing for the team and playing team fights really well.
You don't watch each other. What would you want to do that he does well and the other way around? Perks.
I wish I could play Zed as good as Vivian.
There we go. Bevy.
What?
There's
That's
actually,
me, but
I love the banter and the trash talk between mid laners, especially when there's dynamic queue going on. If there's like Nuke Talk, Febiven, Perks, and maybe somebody else.
I'm never playing mid because I'm always playing jungle because other mid laners are too bad to awful.
There it is.
We'll move on to the promotion tournament in 1 second. I want to wrap up this playoff talk. Obviously, if the meta is team fighting, if the meta is like it is today, who wins the playoffs? Do I even have to ask you?
I think we know who wins the playoffs.
Fnatic?
No, it's Vitality.
Oh?
I'm kidding. G2 is gonna win playoffs.
Why?
Because I have best jungle in Europe.
That's a good one.
probably HDK, I think.
Why?
Because I think they're the best team right now, and their players are individually the best in their role, I think, or one of the best at least.
Are we gonna get Fnatic moving to semi-final, then losing to one of these teams? Because I assume now you guys are saying G2 versus H2K is a very likely final.
Yeah, probably. I don't think. I hope I can really make it to Rotterdam, but it's gonna be really hard for us to actually get there because we are just lacking time right now, and we just need to keep working.
Well, you can always take the train, obviously. You attend in person as well.
We can get you a ticket, don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. Obviously, we will see what happens. That is a goal. And, I mean, it's the thing we hear from you guys since the beginning. It's a project. We have to work on it. We need more time. So we'll see what happens. Some other teams that don't have a lot of time and need to improve really fast are the teams that are in the summer promotion. Tournaments, obviously, we already discussed with Febiven a bit about who we thought would go through there. We'll take a look. Giants playing the Copenhagen Wolves and Roccat playing Huma in that one. And Splice is in the mix as well. Perks, who of the current LCS teams, or maybe which one of the challenger teams, do you think have chances?
I actually don't think any challenger team will qualify for LCS this split. I just think their players individually are too bad. Not good enough as other EU LCS players. And I think EU LCS players, even though like these teams like Roccat and Splice, like they have shown good performances like versus good teams, like Roccat won versus Vitality, Splice won versus Fnatic, and and stuff like that. So I think I just think the LCS team will prevail, and they have better map play and are just more experienced as well. So.
Anything else to add? It starts Thursday.
No, I mean, we talked about it as well, and judging from some of the games today, even Giants winning, and of course, as you said, Roccat winning yesterday, and also the PU5 we had between Huma and Copenhagen Wolves. It looks like the LCS teams have gotten much better practice, obviously, for the last, 9 weeks, and they have experience playing on the stage here, so I think they're going to win.
I'm a little worried for Roccat, because the game can go really stale, and that's something we saw in Huma versus Copenhagen Wolves, a very slow mid-game where nothing was happening, and people would kind of seemingly randomly start fighting. It's like, oh, you guys are here, we're here, let's start fighting. I feel like Roccat can play into that style and refuse to play any macro, and maybe, but yeah, I'd have to agree with Perks. I think the current 3 LCS teams would probably stay in.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Okay, we'll see what happens in that one. We also have some tweets for you, Febiven, because earlier we put out a call for you to ask Febiven, and @GavJanai tweeted, how are you handling the shift in responsibility since the big roster change in the preseason?
Responsibility. Yeah, I don't think I'm taking that much responsibility. I don't think I'm really ready for that. It's really hard for me to take this role because I'm younger than the rest of the guys, and it's really hard for me to take responsibility. I think I'm just too experienced as a person in that regard.
Okay. Very interesting. And the second one, on a lighter tone, @Fnatic Spirit asks, why are you so annoying? Oh, he's such a troll.
I don't know. Why are you so annoying?
Oh, he's probably watching. Well, very funny.
But there wasn't any
Spirit.
questions here for Perks. So Perks,
No.
why are you so annoying?
Yeah.
I'm never annoying.
Oh,
Why'd you
carry
laugh?
on. Carry on.
I agree.
Okay.
Agreed. Moving on. In today's games, Jankos put the pedal to the metal to close out the Spring Fantasy LCS season. We have a guy on the desk here who loves to banter with Jankos. He had 9 kills, 0 deaths, and a KDA of 19. He closed out the fantasy split with 3 points on the day. 3?
Yeah, but he missed every skill shot again, so it's whatever.
35.
As long as you can last hit in team fights, you don't need skill shots.
If fantasy points would count skill shots, you would have like -50 or something.
Well,